A very good morning and welcome to our Wednesday reflection from Holy Saviour Church in Hitchin. Over the last couple of weeks, I was holidaying in Cyprus with my wife. My wife has family in Cyprus. And one of the things that we encountered when we were out in Cyprus was the Greek Orthodox Easter, which is this year a week after our Easter in the West. It's a rather amazing festival because after the sorrow and sadness and deep prayer of Good Friday, on the Easter Saturday afternoon, quite really, the world goes bonkers. Pyrotechnics abound. No law is kept in terms of what type of fireworks you use. And in fact, many in Cyprus and Greece get injured in that period from firework accidents. In church, there is a great cacophony. There's a great enthusiasm and effervescence of the light of Christ entering the church, and the priests run frantically down the aisles, throwing rose petals right, left and centre at the congregation. And the response of the congregation is to lift the lids of their Orthodox pews and bang them like crazy. It's such a loud and exciting festival. And for the period thereafter, for several weeks, whether you are talking about the television or the newspaper or just encountering people in the street, the message is always the same in greeting. Christos anesti, Christ is risen, alethos o Kyrios, truly he is the Lord. The reflection that I wanted to make today was actually about the Easter story in John's Gospel and Mary Magdalene. And I would talk about it in one simple phrase: the voice of Jesus. Mary, wholly saddened that she had come to the grave early in the morning of the first day of the week and could not find the body of Jesus, turns to who she thinks might be the gardener and asks him in great floods of tears where they might have taken her Lord's body. As she turns and looks at the empty tomb, she's not looking at the gardener, the supposed gardener. And here's a voice which just says, Mary. It's a voice that she recognises, and as she turns, she says, Rabboni, teacher. In an instant, Mary Magdalene's outlook on life, from being saddened and miserable and troubled by all that was taking place and the fear and hiding away that the disciples had done to prevent them being harmed. All of a sudden, she is wonderfully heartened and overjoyed. Jesus has risen. The darkness that was over all the land had suddenly been swept away, and God's love in Jesus had spoken to her. A voice which rang down the years of rescue and salvation was speaking to her in person, and she was changed, totally changed. And I think that's the point that I'd like to make about the Greek Orthodox Easter, is that from that moment of sorrow and reflection, sadness and tears, suddenly a voice shouts, quietly actually, I am risen. Here I am. And then everything is changed. And there is an impelling of whoever has heard that voice and believes that the risen Lord is alive in this world. Anybody that believes that only has in one choice, and that's to walk and be a fellowship in companionship for others who are sorrowful and crying. You see, that's God's love. God's love, as it is given to us, impels us to love also, and greatly. That's the great love of God that gives endlessly, without condition, so that we may walk and be companions to others. And perhaps not surprisingly, after that short account of the Greek Orthodox Easter and my short reflection, the hymn for today is I Heard the Voice of Jesus Say. Reflect on its words, reflect on its story, reflect how sorrow and upset and troubling is overcome as Jesus' voice is heard. And we are asked to be travellers of love and giving to others all our living days.